Today on the podcast, we get to interview the John Cross, who's not just a kick-ass CrossFitter in our morning classes. He is also the owner of Whisker. And in the podcast, we're going to learn more about this local pet eatery, pet boutique, and pet groomer. Stick around to learn more.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
What is up, party people? You know us at the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast. We meet and learn from our CFE coaches, meet and learn about our CFE CrossFitters, and occasionally meet and learn about our local Glen Ed business leaders. And today we're hitting bases 2 and 3 with the man, the myth, the legend, John Cross. I have the great privilege of interviewing him today and learning about his business, Whisker. John, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, boss.
Super excited, man. John, to our audience here, John officially became a part of our CrossFit Edwardsville community on November 9th of this year. So we're about 6 weeks into his CrossFitter journey. He's become one of our 9:30 a.m. Rockstar CrossFitters. And as I mentioned earlier, he's a local business owner, the founder and operator of Whisker, a locally owned pet bakery, boutique, and groomer. So let's jump right into learning a little bit more about John. And we're going to start with the easy CrossFitter questions. John, breaking the ice. So far, we're 6 weeks in. What's been your favorite CrossFit workout so far?
I like that Wizards in winter, which was like the wall balls, the pull-ups and the box jumps. It was like 6 sets for every 3 minutes. That one I liked. I feel like yeah.
I remember that. That was every 3 minutes for 6 rounds.
Yep.
I think 15 or 18 wall balls, 12 pull-ups, 6 box jumps.
7.
That was fierce. That was a hell of a workout. That's a Bailey style. Shout out to Coach Bailey. That's something that's totally her style, which is running every 3 minutes, every 4 minutes. You got a certain set of tasks to complete. The faster you do it, the more rest you get. It's one of her cool interval style workouts. Now, let's do the flip side of that, John. What's been the hardest CrossFit workout you've done?
The Fran and the one we did on Monday, we're going to have the happiest Xmas. Those two just killed me.
The Fran, huh?
Uh-huh.
The Fran. One of the most famous workouts in CrossFit history. Now, I've done this workout more times than I can count. John, can you give us the details of this Fran workout that was so effective for you?
It's the thrusters and then I forgot what the second part was. The pull-ups. Yeah. 21, 15, 9 thrusters and pull-ups. A big pull, a big press, a savage combination. Short, fast, and furious. The Fran workout, one of the most famous workouts in all of CrossFit history. And then, if I hear you right, yesterday's workout is going to be the happiest Christmas ever. Was dumbbell box step overs, jump rope, and push presses. And all of it was heavy. All of it was arduous. My shoulders were just fried.
So what are the exercises or the WODs that you get the most excited to see in the programming? Like you say, like, hey, when this move comes up, I'm stoked. What is it for you?
Bench press. I love doing the bench press.
Dude, so you and Bailey would definitely get along well because Bailey loves to bench press. Coach Bailey, she writes it into our programming often. One of the most practical and useful strength builders too. So that's very cool. So then, John, for you, we're 6 weeks in. We're still early in this journey, but what have been the best benefits for you to doing CrossFit? Like, how has it changed, like, how you look, how you feel, how you perform as you're an athlete, you're a man, you're a business owner, you're a husband, relatively new husband as well.
Yeah.
What have been the benefits for you so far?
I just feeling better about myself because I know that I'm working on making the best version of myself that I can. So that's always a positive. I know that I'm only 6 weeks into it, but I can feel the changes coming. You know, the weight will come off, the body starts to tone up. It's getting used to it. I'm not so sore the next day that I can't move. So that's nice, you know, so the muscles are remembering what it's like to be used.
And be an athlete, right?
Yeah.
To do functional movements and do them often. Well, cool, man. Cool. So we're going to do a little switch on gears here. We're going to go back in time. So as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, you're the founder of Whisker Bones, a local pet bakery, boutique, and groomer. Is this John Cross's first business? Like, tell us more about your background as an entrepreneur.
So I've ran restaurants my whole life. Got 20 years of restaurant management mixed in with 4 years of the Marine Corps, and that's what I've always done. We had an opportunity that kind of came around, and we decided to try out being business owners. So this is my first crack at it, and no idea what I'm doing, but learning every day.
It's that trial by fire education as you go. You know what I mean? You kind of forced to learn a ton. So we want to learn more, man. Share the Whisker Bones origin story with us. Like, why this business? What made you fired up or passionate about doing something in the pet space?
Well, me and my wife had got our dog Bella about 4 years ago. We were working 60 hours a week at, both restaurant managers for a Salt and Smoke. And we wanted to spend more time with our dog. We're spending, a couple thousand on doggy daycare a month, which is just crazy, but it was. And unfortunately, her grandmother got sick and she was in the hospital. So we were spending a lot of time with her as, she was getting ready to pass. And I just kind of had this idea of what if we try something like this? Like, we love animals. Like, what if we try it? So we went and got educated. We're both certified dog trainers from Animal Behavior College. And then we just kind of started looking around, seeing what's out there, seeing if we built this company, what we would do. And we came across this turnkey with Whisker Bones Supply Company on Main Street in Edwardsville, and Club Whisker Bones, which was the boarding and daycare facility on the 157, and talked to my mom and my dad, talked to some other people. And then we're like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's do this. Let's put the chips in. And May 7th of 2020, we took over the business. Scott and Perry had owned it before. They'd only had it for about 3 years. Then COVID came in, that fun thing.
Yeah, that is like just hit. So you guys started up like 3 months into the pandemic.
Yep. So, I mean, we were doing everything that we knew how to do, which is more of management, not like actually being owners and all the things that go into those decisions. So we were hiring and we were changing up things even during the pandemic and trying to make everything the best that we could do it. And, we went from having at the daycare, almost 200 dogs a week down to like less than 30.
Wow.
So it just didn't make sense for us to keep that open. We were losing money faster than we were gaining. So we cut ties with the daycare portion and then put all of our focus into the grooming bakery boutique that we have downtown. And that's been awesome.
So that gets into my next question, is like how this has evolved since the beginning. It sounds like having a daycare was a part of the original vision, the original business. You've moved away from that. What else is different now? Like, you guys have weathered a pandemic. You've learned a few things being, 2.5 years into this now. Like, what's new? What's different with Whisker Bones compared to the beginning?
Well, we only have half the business that we started out with. So it's a funny thing, but you learn to accept failure. And that's something that I've never been accustomed to. I played sports my whole life, and being a Marine, failure is not an option. So learning that you're going to fail, but that's when the learning really happens, is through the failure. And then we've evolved, like with the amount of groomers that we have. We started out with 2, now we have 7. Like what we do with we make dog cakes, and it's not like, just like, a little dog cake or whatever. I mean, we make dog cakes. Like, we get down on making these cakes that are like Star Wars or The Office or Casino. Like that's really taken off. We do some amazing things with that. And we've really connected with the community. We do free snow cones when the Goshen market goes on. It started out, it was just for the dogs. And then there were so many kids that would always come up and be like, hey, can I get a snow cone? I'm like, well, I don't think you're going to like bone broth. So we're like, why not just do this for the kids? Like, why not just give back? Like, it's fun. So every Saturday between 9 and noon when the Goshen market goes on, we give out free snow cones, and we'll have a line around the block. Like, kids get so excited. So it's neat. And, you know, we love what we do. So it's fun to get to do that stuff.
That's awesome. So I'm going to do a little share screen here. For those of our audience who are on the video feed on the YouTube, let's see, because I'd love for John to kind of walk us through this a little bit more. So this is the Whisker Bros website, fresh baked treats. And this is what he's talking about with like legit cakes, like not just something small, but like we had like a full-on dog birthday cake on the slider right here.
Yeah, there you go. That's just one of our basic ones. My wife is very talented and can do some pretty ornate stuff.
What are some of the most elaborate cakes you've done for pets?
She's done a llama cake, and then she did it was a 3-tiered casino cake. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then that's kind of showing we have our hands in everything that we do. Everything's all organic. It's organic barley and rye are in our dog treats. We use Fiji apples, human grade food on everything. So we like to know, what people are ingesting. We're still updating that. Scott is he was one of the original owners. So,
well, cool. So, all right, getting back to our questions here then. What is the mission of Whisker Bones? Like the mission statement, the vision statement, the core purpose? Would you mind sharing that with us?
Yeah. So our mission statement is we work hard so all dogs and cats can have a better life. That is truly our purpose. And our core values really reflect that, which is kindness without exception, serve your community, seize the opportunity, be an advocate, and passion in all things.
Love it. So if somebody is like comparing like Whisker Bones to other pet food stores, other groomers in the area, like what's some of the key differentiators? Like what's the differentiating like value proposition for this one versus the other ones?
It's care. You can't fake care. No matter what, it's just if it's not authentic, it's not authentic. And if you come into our store, you're greeted. If you have your dog or cat with you, we're going to be on the floor playing with the dog and cat. Like we're like, that's nice that you're a human and you came in our store, whatever. We care about the animals. The groomers come out, they get to know every animal that they come in. We go above and beyond with what we do. We've caught 3 or 4 different times. We've caught like bumps or different things that were wrong with dogs that the owners didn't know, but as we're grooming, because we go through and we check everything, that has potentially stopped something severe from happening to a dog, like a joint problem or that
like early signs of a health problem, you mean?
Yeah. So we do that, and it's just the little things. Like we had a little girl who she had a turtle, and we didn't have anything for turtles, but she really liked the fact that we give her a free snow cone every Saturday. So she came in and asked if we could give her turtle a bath. So Bree, one of our staff members, got some turtle wax and waxed this girl's turtle. We didn't charge her anything, but we got it looking all pretty and gave this girl back this turtle. It's just little things like that set us apart, like that's the human element.
It's a fun story. And I love those like little successes, little things you can contribute to. You just making somebody's day better, because it's not just making. I know that for me, one person wanted to put it this way, like if you do something for a person's kids, you're doing it for them, and it means just as much, right? Like if you're caring for somebody's pets, a lot of times that's like their child. It's another member of the family, and doing something for them means all the world to them. You can really brighten their day that way. Well, let's switch gears, talk about failures. Because one of the most interesting things we learned from our local business owners is about how, like, when things have gone wrong, what have you learned and what have you taken away from that lesson? So how has a failure or an apparent failure set John Cross up for later success? Or to put it a different way, do you have a favorite failure of yours?
There's been so many. I mean, like I said, I came into this thinking that I understood business and that I knew. I mean, I was running a $10 million a year revenue restaurant with 150 people underneath me. So I was like, I'm a businessman. I know things. Now I have 13 staff members and I have no idea what I'm doing. So it was truthfully learning that, like, profit, like really what profit is. Because in my mind, when we started this, it wasn't about making money. We were running a zero profit. The whole idea behind us was, who cares? As long as we break even, I'm happy. But failing with that because, cash flow and different things as they happen, profit is the blood. It doesn't have to be the purpose, but it's the blood, and you have to have blood to move, to do anything. So me learning that was one of the biggest things after 2 years of being on a path that wasn't going to lead to us being able to do our mission statement of working hard to help out other animals because we couldn't keep the doors open because we're not making a profit. So that's been a very interesting one. Very fortunate that I have extremely intelligent friends. I've always surrounded myself with people who are intelligent or just good humans, and he's taken me under his wing and really helped me a lot in the business aspect of it with accountability and all that. So now we're making good strides.
I love it, man. I see, like, for so many of us get into a line of work or a business because we're passionate about what we do in that line of work, as an operator. But then you switch to being an entrepreneur and a business owner, you have to see things from a whole different lens of the business side of things. And it requires a level of, like, growth and learning. And God willing, like, we've had some wonderful mentors at CrossFit Edwardsville. Hopefully it's the same for Whisker Bones. So John, what's the best part of your work? Like, something you'd love to experience every day or more of every day. What is that for you?
Oh, it's the dogs and the people. We've had dogs that really struggle to be around other dogs or no one else will groom. And then we bring them in on a Sunday when there's no one else there, and we slowly work with the dog, touching their feet, just getting the dog used to us touching their feet. And then three months later, all of a sudden this dog can come in and it can get a haircut and it can be happier and healthier because it's not matted and it's not snapping at humans. Like, that's just the best thing in the world. We know that we've given that dog, like, just such a better life. And that's what it's all about for us.
It's awesome. It sounds like it's rewarding for John Cross to see the transformation in an animal being like fearful or skittish to being comfortable and enjoying its environment and embracing the experience.
Oh, 100%.
So what's the hardest part of your work? Like, if you could make one problem go away forever, what would it be?
Anxiety of the dogs. Because when they come in and they bark and bark and bark, and they're, they don't have the ability to communicate with us the way I can tell you, like, my elbow hurts or I'm scared of loud noises. They can't. So I wish I could make that go away and they could communicate with us and take that anxiety away from them.
Sure. So we're going to go from here now into a little bit of a lightning round, John. Mm-hmm. We'll blast through a handful of different questions and just get, like, your quick answer on each one. So first up, in the last 5 years, what new belief or behavior or habit has most improved your life? John Cross, go.
Waking up at 7 a.m. every day, using the atomic habits of being 1% better every day, and accepting failure. And that has 3 times over made me better.
James Clear, right? Atomic Habits?
Yep.
Well, let's hang on that for a second. What books have been the most influential on your personal or business success? John Cross, go.
Well, Atomic Habits. The Grit by Tammy Duckworth is an amazing read, and also the 5 a.m. Club is a very good read as well.
Got it. What's an unusual habit or absurd thing that you love?
I'm a list maker. Like, I plan everything out. Like the other day, I'm weird. Like when there's a tornado coming through, I was like, we need to have a plan for what we're gonna do.
For sure.
I'm all about lists and plans.
Do you have siblings, John?
I have a brother who's 8 years older than me.
I gotcha. Well, that was interesting because usually the most list maker type people are usually the oldest of the brothers or sisters, and they're used to being the ones to be the leaders and intelligently orchestrate the efforts of people around them. It's like I'm right with you, man. I make lists for everything, and I love to check things off the list, get that little dopamine hit of accomplishment. I probably speak to that in Atomic Habits too.
Oh yeah.
So, what is John Cross most proud of?
I'm a very proud Marine. I'm a combat veteran I was in from 2002 to 2006. I'm very proud that I served my country, and especially in the branch that I did.
And thank you for your service, by the way. We appreciate the brave men and women that basically put everything on the line to keep our communities and our countries safe and preserve our liberties and the freedom that we enjoy. We appreciate you and the men and women that served alongside you. So thank you for that. So now, John, looking ahead in life, what most excites you about the future? What do you most look forward to?
Well, we're not spring chickens anymore, but me and the wife we're working on getting pregnant. I want to be a father.
Let's go.
Yep. So
baby number one.
That's baby number one. We're hoping soon.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you guys. Do you for us, like when we were gonna have a baby, our very first one. So something that may or may not be interesting for you to know, John, there was a very large scale European study that was looking for one of the most predictive or determining factors in the gender of a baby. And the number one single most predictive factor is the number and the gender of the man's siblings. The number and the gender of the man's siblings. So case in point, I have only brothers and I have 3 of them. So I am genetically predisposed to have sons. And okay. You have a brother, yes?
Yep.
Only a brother.
Yep.
The odds are slightly tilted that you'll have a son. Now, granted, the more siblings you have, the more predictive this is, but just something fun I just need to keep in mind. For me and Caroline, we had a much easier time picking names for a girl than for a boy. Have you guys already got names picked?
No, we haven't gotten there yet.
Well, I'm excited for you guys. I love being a dad. It's by far, of all the jobs that I have, it is by far my favorite job. I absolutely love it. And shout out to my little dude, Zai Zai. Every Thursday, by the way, John, every Thursday is what we call play day. So when Zai gets out of school, I take him on a date, and the whole rest of the day, we just go out and do trampoline parks, or we play Frisbee, or we play pool, or we'll box, or we'll wrestle, or we'll do the arcade. We'll go to Edison's and do laser tag, right? And we've done that ever since he was super wee. Every Thursday was like our day. I cannot recommend this enough. When your child is born, like, have a day that is all about that child. And what's really cool is, like, every week we count down the days to Thursday. Like on Tuesday, Zaya's like, Dad, 2 more days until play day. And it's like every week we have this like big like celebration. It's just been wonderful for our relationship. And I hope for everybody to experience that kind of connection with their child, and I hope that you get to also, John.
That's awesome.
So let's do this. Last questions. If you could make only one statement to the world, John, what would it be? Or To put it another way, if you had to choose one thing to say on a billboard that's going to be seen by thousands or millions, what would that billboard say?
Strive to be 1% better every day.
Let me go ahead and add that to a banner here. And this is a quote from Atomic Habits.
I don't think this one is Atomic Habits, but it's I don't remember who said it.
Got it. To our audience here, strive to be 1% better every day. So now, John, if people want to find out more about the grooming business, the pet bakery business, how can they do that?
You can go on to whiskerbones.com. You can do Facebook or Instagram of Whisker Bones.
Got it. So you can look them up on the socials, find them on the website to learn more about this business. John, I want to say a great big thank you to you for joining us on the podcast today. Again, to learn more about Whisker Bones, if you have a pet in your family, you want to provide them the best care. They're a part of your family. Whisker Bones can be a part of that. Again, whiskerbones.com or Instagram and Facebook, Whisker Bones. John, thanks for joining us on the podcast today. To all of our audience, thank you guys for joining us on the podcast. Have yourselves a beautiful and blessed rest of your day. We can't wait to see you guys in the next episode.